Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm talking about something that I've heavily struggled with, and I'm sure that you have at some point too. That is emotional regulation, controlling our emotions. It's not faking it till you make it or pretending that you don't care. Of course, you care. If you're human, you have feelings. It's about pausing instead of reacting, responding instead of exploding, and being calm instead of being emotionally impulsive. So, yeah, first we must understand that there is a cost to emotional impulsivity. When we're feeling triggered, the amygdala, our emotional brain, hijacks our prefrontal cortex, our rational brain, and that's why we lash out or make reckless choices in the heat of the moment and later wonder, what the hell was I thinking? Because you weren't thinking. When you let your emotions lead, you end up doing things and saying things that you regret. You might self sabotage. You could cause a breakup, the end of a friendship, a job opportunity by sending an angry text, lashing out, shutting down. But when you're emotionally regulated, you stop being a slave to your emotions. You move from reactive to intentional. So instead of just doing something because you felt an emotional impulse, an urge to do something because you were mad, angry, whatever feeling that you want to name, pause. Just pause. By learning to regulate our emotions, we are creating our own emotional safety net. And we are also protecting our peace. Impulsive reactions, they feel empowering and powerful in the moment, but long term, they're sabotaging. They steal your power. So, the first thing that we're gonna do is recognize the trigger. So, as soon as somebody says something, somebody does something, and we're immediately triggered, we're going to hopefully, we've been doing the work on ourselves to have enough self awareness to realize when we are feeling triggered. Usually your body reacts. Our bodies react before our minds do. When you start to notice that your palms are sweaty or your heart is racing or you're just boiling, your face is turning red, that is when we pause and ask ourselves, what am I feeling right now? Why am I feeling this way? Have I felt this way before? When you notice that you're being triggered, that is the moment where you get to choose something different. You can either choose to react or respond. Having self awareness is the first step to releasing emotional impulsivity and being in control. So, after we have recognized the trigger, we are going to pause, take some breaths, deep inhale, deep exhale. Let's start using our rational mind here. This is your make or break moment. Before you text, call, post, vent, whatever you're going to do, you're going to pause. Just try and relax for that moment. And in the next moment, you're going to choose carefully what you're going to do next. What I strongly advise is nothing. Is when you feel triggered and you want to react, you do nothing that moment. You go take a nap, you go do a workout, you go do something totally different that has nothing to do with that. The reason why is because anything that we do in that moment may not be what we actually want to do. Sometimes, if we sit on a decision or sit on something, wait to the next day if we can be afforded that time, then we can actually make an intentional decision rather than an impulsive one. Impulses feel urgent, but it's not, it's just emotion peaking. Your nervous system can act like it's life or death, but you need to remind yourself that that is not true. And pausing, breathing, it slows that down so you can have a better frame of mind before you make any decisions. Say you're on your phone and you see something that you don't want to see. Put your phone away immediately. Freeze, step away, do something else. Next, we are going to label our emotions. So, after we have realized that we're feeling triggered, we've paused, we're taking some deep breaths in and out, we are then labeling our emotion. We are asking ourselves, what emotion is this and how do I feel? I feel hurt. I feel anxious. I feel betrayed. I feel shame. Whatever the feeling is, we're going to label it, name it, and figure out why we're feeling that way. Apparently, labeling our emotions decreases them by 50%. So just acknowledging it and bringing it up to the surface makes some of that emotion disappear. Emotional impulsiveness is often fueled by things that we make up in our mind, a story that we are telling ourselves. And often it's not even true. Someone takes long to respond, and you think, wow, they don't even like me. That's not true. You don't know. They're busy, they're at work, they're doing a workout, they could be doing anything. But sometimes we make our own story in our heads and we make assumptions where there should be none. The stories we make create anxiety. It leads to us chasing and venting and oversharing. And now all of a sudden we're sending somebody a text that we shouldn't be sending. So ask yourself, is this even true? Is this factual? Or is this a story I'm making up in my head? And a lot of the times, other people's behavior and actions have nothing to do with us. So we need to remember not to take everything so personal that if somebody didn't respond to us or they didn't do what X, Y, Z, maybe it's not us. After this, we are responding with intention. This is the most important part. Now that the emotion isn't in the driver's seat, you can ask yourself, what outcome do I actually want? Not every emotion even deserves a reaction or a response. Here are some examples of what I'm talking about. So, your crush sees your story, but they still didn't respond to your text. The impulsive thing to do is to double text them. The regulated thing to do is to let their actions speak, to wait it out and see what they're about. Like, don't create a story in your mind, just observe. Someone posts a shady comment to you. The impulsive thing to do is to respond back or get into their DMs and start an argument. The regulated thing to do is to just delete it or ignore it. Who cares? You get ghosted and you immediately start sending long paragraphs talking about how you deserve better. The regulated thing to do, let your silence be the closure. You know that your value does not need convincing. Your boss criticizes something that you've done. The impulsive thing to do is to immediately snap and start blaming them or just being defensive. The regulated thing to do, take notes and say, I appreciate your feedback, or, I will take notes on that. I appreciate the feedback. I will note that for next time. You get social anxiety before an event or a date, a hangout. And the impulsive thing is to text and cancel and say, sorry, something came up, you can't make it. Or you don't even respond at all and you just ghost. The regulated thing to do is to go anyways and know that you can leave early. You don't have to stay if you feel uncomfortable, but it's to push through and to push your comfort zone. Just say to yourself, you know what? I'll just go for 1 hour. And if it's too much, then I'll leave. And do just that. Someone cuts you off in traffic. You roll down the window, start honking and screaming. That's the impulsive thing to do. The regulated thing to do is, I'm not going to let this person ruin my day. They can go ahead and be a pest to others, but I'm not going to let them ruin my day. I'm going to turn my music up. I'm going to keep going and I'm going to keep showing the world kindness. You see your ex post or be flirty with another girl online and you decide to immediately message him or message her and call them up and, start being, how could you? And start being crazy. That's the impulsive thing to do. And the regulated thing to do, to acknowledge how you feel, but don't act on it. Unfollow him, block him, do whatever you have to do, but don't give your power away to others. Let me know in the comments what helps you regulate your emotions. For me, it's really been journaling. I journal to vent. I go do workouts. I go and do something else the moment I feel triggered. I don't let that emotion take over my power. And I acknowledge it and I move through it by writing it down and releasing those emotions. I cry if I have to. I'm not afraid to embrace and show my emotions, but you can bet I'm not going to react and I'm not going to give my power away to anyone else. I hope you like this video. Send it to a friend who needs it. Please comment, like, subscribe, all that stuff. We're so thankful for our growth. It's slow, but it's going. Like they say, slow and steady wins the race. So Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.